Hey everyone, welcome to the Dare to Care podcast, the podcast where we talk about the inner workings of ministry at Inspire Family Fellowship and community stories within the church. If you have any comments, stories, or questions about Inspire or our Dare to Care ministries at any point during the podcast today, feel free to send those to me at ty@inspirefamily.org. We also invite you to join us in person any Sunday that you're able, 9:15 and 10:45. Our address is 523 North 21st Street, so feel free to come join us in person. Tell us who you are, tell us how you found us, that sort of thing. My name is Ty Farnsworth, like I said. I'm the worship coordinator here at Inspire Family Fellowship, joined by our youth coordinator, Kate Little.
Hi, everyone. Yeah.
And our
She's the only one that's ever applauded me.
Applauding special guest today, Nicole Peske. Nicole, how are you doing?
It is awesome to be here with two of my favorite people.
I want to clarify, because we had to clarify on Beth's podcast. Mm-hmm. You are Pastor Rob's wife, not Tim's wife.
Exactly. Pastor Rob's wife. Yep. There's a lot of Peskes floating around this place.
I'm trying to think. This is probably our 5th Peske interview. And I'm going to interview your kids, so.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of the Peske place,
Hopefully there's not some ranking after we're done.
Rank every Peske from best to worst. But tell us a little bit about your backstory. Before you became a Peske, you're a Torkelson?
I was a Torkelson, yes. Yeah, I grew up in rural Minnesota and
where at?
North of Moorhead, about 30 miles, small town called Pearlie, Minnesota, population 132.
Very big.
Wow.
Yep, graduated from Halstead, Minnesota, which is just right across the border from Hillsboro, class of 32, so small town kid, and grew up in just a great, great family. I have one younger brother who's 14 months younger, so we're basically the same age, and two amazing parents, and yeah, I grew up Catholic, and faith was always important to us. We always went to church every Sunday, and definitely talked about our faith at home. And then, when I graduated from high school, I decided to branch out and go to the University of Mary. I was the only person from my high school to ever go there, and so went there not knowing anyone, and just had an amazing, amazing experience. So, and that's where I met Rob.
Sure. So he's kind of touched a little bit. Obviously, you grew up Catholic, you grew up Lutheran. What was that dynamic like? And you're a little bit older than Rob, so tell us a little bit about the meeting him and the different faith and dating in college. And
yeah, he brings up the fact that I'm older than him all the time.
No, trust me, he brings it up with Amy, he brings it up with, it's...
Like all the time. And that's the thing about age, like I'll never be able to catch him, or he'll never be able to catch me. So yeah, it was really interesting. So when I was going to school at the University of Mary, I just had a lot of questions, and that's clearly a Catholic university. Like I said, I had just a great experience there. It's fairly small, so I got a ton of opportunity. Sort of the kind of place where, if you want to make it happen, they're more than happy to let you do it. So I got a ton of extra experience and got to be in a lot of extracurriculars, but I had a lot of questions when I was in there, because there's clearly a lot of other faith components to going to a private university. And while I was there, met a friend of mine who actually is now a priest, so very into his faith, got me hooked on the Bible and questioning and digging deeper. And it was amazing. I think it's just so interesting how some people land in your life like just at the right time that you need it, or how you're feeling about, or your interest and curiosity in the Lord can kind of be dormant for a while, and then all of a sudden just like a flame is lit. And that's exactly what happened to me. Like I could not get enough of my Bible. I was reading it all the time. I had tons of questions, and then it was really cool. I actually ended up going through the RCIA program, which is the program for people that are converting to Catholicism. But it's just a basic hands-on or basic class where you can just learn, kind of the details about what the differences are, and got some of my questions answered. But in the process of that time, I met Rob, and I mean, clearly his family was super involved in the church, and for a long time, once we started dating, we were going to 2 services every week. So we would go to a Catholic service, and then we would go to, a Lutheran service. And just over the course of time, just felt like I found my home at the new church. But yeah, it was challenging. It wasn't easy. It was I would say a challenge for my parents. And
apart from Rob and your friend who is now a priest, where did that kind of faith journey develop? Was there anyone that kind of helped guide you through it, out of the Catholic faith and into kind of the Lutheran faith, and then becoming a part of the Peske family, where you're not just an outsider coming into this place, but now you're a part of this very active part of what was then Charity and now here at Inspire. What was that like?
Right. Yeah. I think it was definitely Rob played a big role in that. I mean, I think we both knew that if we were going to be forever, that we weren't going to want to go to two churches forever. But honestly, I felt just such peace. And, when I was going to, when we were going to the Lutheran church, it was interesting because the pastor that was there, frequently he would say at the very beginning that, you might not know why you're here, but, God has brought you here and you're here for a reason. And I'll tell you, like, when we were going through the hardest days, that one thing was like the thing that kept me in my seat, because it felt true. And I think over a course of time, I just felt very at home there. And we made the decision that I would switch, which is actually in the Lutheran church quite easy.
Sure. Yeah.
I just decided. But yeah, it's been, and then, I mean, it is interesting coming to Bismarck, being the only one from my high school to ever come here, but having a last name that nobody in town recognized. Like, I didn't have I had relatives on my mom's side from here, but different last name. Then to marrying into one of the most commonly known names, I feel like, maybe outside of Vetter, but like the commonly, maybe the most commonly, a very commonly known name, which I think is like a byproduct of being teachers. Everybody knows you. So, so that was quite interesting. And then also just the fact that, Bob worked at the church, and then eventually Rob ended up working at the church. So I think it's like, church has always been just like a part of my life, but in very different ways.
Sure.
I've always found home in church.
Sure. Kate, tell us about your experiences with the Peske kids, and if you have questions for Nicole. I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of questions for Nicole.
I work with your kids very closely. I have a lot of questions that we'll talk about after this podcast.
Exactly. Exactly.
No, I adore your kids. I love working with them every week, and you can clearly, like, how did you start the relationship with your kids into church? Because they are so involved. Did they just kind of show up and just were told what to do, or?
What's that like, being the parent of I don't like giving ownership to different parts of the church to certain people, but your kids have been so active since day one in this place, especially in the kids ministry, and now with Ben graduating. What's that like, seeing them grow in their faith and kind of lead the way for other kids their age?
Yeah, I think they've just grown up in it. I think that's part of it. It's just always been such a major part of our family life, to the point where, in the church we used to be at, the kids would be running all over the church, in the sanctuary, in the hallways, like up on the stage. And there's always this like feeling of, man, I should stop this, but also I'm so glad that they are so comfortable here. But we've always been so active, like Wednesdays, Sundays, extra stuff. All of our friends, all of their friends are all at the church. Like, it's just such a big component. And so I think they've just grown up in it. And then we've really tried hard to instill in them that, Wednesday nights is for them and Sundays are for serving. So we always, Wednesdays they go to their, awesome Ignite youth programming. And then Sundays we try to, they do something. So they're working in the nursery, or they're, like, Evan was running Pro Presenter last week, which, bold move, Ty.
No, he did a great job. It was out of desperation.
Okay.
But he did a fantastic job.
So, or, Ben's played drums and bass forever, and so they're serving on Sundays.
Sure.
My favorite thing is, like, on a Sunday, where is Evan? He is where any kid is. Like, anytime I see Evan, he's got a kid somewhere with him.
And Ernie, it was so funny because we, at the end of our Wednesdays, the last Wednesday service, we do what we call a say-so, where the kids will kind of share their experience of faith and especially their connection with the church here. Ernie asked the question to Evan's age group, how many of you came because Evan invited you? No, it's only like half of them. It's like, thanks, Evan.
You know what? This is the deal, though. And I know it's been said a ton before, but it's worth saying again that the youth can only do that because this is a place that's so easy for them to invite kids to.
Sure.
Like, that's the only reason for it. It's not, I don't even feel like they feel nervous asking people because it's so fun. It's so fun for them. And so I think they think that inviting their friends to church is just like inviting them to a movie. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that because, yeah, you just make it so easy for that to happen.
And I do have to give some credit to Ben, too. Ben started it.
That's true, yeah.
I love it because Evan's trying to beat Ben now. I don't know if they both know that about each other, but Evan's been trying to beat Ben on inviting more friends because that's what Ben started with. We always call Ben and... Was it Ben and Karsten? We call them the Jesus bullies for Jesus, in the best way.
I think we can add Luke to that one too.
Luke too, and I love it. They're not afraid to get turned down. I talked about that on the second to last Wednesday. We combined our middle and high school group, and I just was like, "How do you invite kids to church? How do you invite friends to church?" Because so many people I feel like are so nervous, but your kids are just naturals at it, and it's not an easy thing for kids to do.
This is really interesting. So the other day we were having a conversation with a bunch of Ben and his friends and about inviting people to church. And they were talking about the T-shirts that we do every year and which T-shirts have generated the most discussions, which you've probably thought about all this, but I had never thought about that, about how like the saying on the back of the shirt can actually generate conversation. And they all said it's the one that says it's personal. Like, sure. Tons of people at school will be walking behind him and will ask him, what does that mean?
Sure.
And then that's just like a gateway to telling them about their faith and inviting them to church. And
sure.
So
that's really
it's cool. The little things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I had a question because for the longest time, and I think Rob touched on this a little bit on his podcast, but this is our 40th podcast. We've been doing this for almost a year now.
What? Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you for being a part of it. But 35 weeks ago, Rob talked about, he's always taught on and off and worked at the church on and off. But now you are a pastor's wife. What was that like, having the conversations with Rob and feeling that call, and now obviously you're still working, but having a husband in the position at the church? Obviously your kids are a little older, so it's not quite as big of a change, but it's still a big change. Right. What's it like being a pastor's wife?
We still call them PKs every once in a while.
Sure.
Yeah, it's been wild. I mean, from the moment that he made the decision, I said to him that summer, I said, some people when they go through a midlife crisis, they just buy like a Camaro. Like, you don't need
Didn't he also buy a car too?
Yeah, he did. That's so true. He actually had 2 midlife crises. I was like, you do not need to have like a career change but it has been just amazing. And for so many reasons. Number one, I think because it happened like a little bit later, his calling, or him at least responding to his calling a little bit later, I think it took so much pressure off of us because, I mean, we're not typical. Like, I wouldn't, although this church I think is full of non-typical pastors' wives, to be honest. They've been like,
at this point it is typical.
They've been such great examples to me of like what it means to just be yourself and be who you are. And you don't have to fit into this stereotype. Although we joke in our house a lot about, wearing floral dresses and having head coverings. Like, Rob really wants me to wear a head covering, but anyway.
You're halfway there.
Yeah. It's a floral shirt. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's been just really amazing to be free to, I mean, at this point in our lives, we cannot be anything but who we are. Like, we're not going to fool anyone. They've already seen us. And so that's been really freeing. The other just amazing thing to come out of this is just seeing your husband do what he was made to do. Like, I just think it's been I knew it was going to be good. Honestly, I knew, but I just didn't know how good it was going to be. It's just what, like watching a person fulfilling his purpose, and just amazing to see the process of where he's come to up to this point, and how those skills that he was building and those past employers that he had, how they kind of helped shape him into being the pastor that he is.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just been really, really, really great.
Very cool. Anything else you want to touch on? People here in the church that have really impacted your faith?
Oh my gosh, so many. Yeah, I'm in love with the people of our church. Like I said, they're our friends. We look forward to coming to this place all the time. It doesn't matter if it's on a Wednesday or a Sunday, or if it's, on a Thursday at noon for a podcast, but we just always enjoy coming here and love the people. I think, like I mentioned, the pastors' wives, like I think Chris and Pam, like I think it's been really, like I said, refreshing for me to watch them and see who they are and who they feel like they don't have to be, really.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know, we're involved in so much. Like I'm in love with the different pockets of groups that we're in. I mean, they say small groups are really important, but we really have found different small groups across the church. One of my favorites is the tech team.
Sure.
Like I love.
We talked about it a couple weeks ago. It's incredible how that's grown in the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's just fantastic, and it's so fun to be a part of something with a small group of just totally delightful people.
Sure.
Like they're just good people and real people.
Sure.
So
very cool. Kate, can I challenge you to pray for Nicole and her family as we close out today?
Absolutely. But before we do, I just want to say thank you to you too. You've thanked us a couple times, but being a pastor's wife, you get thrown into a lot of things here. And even before that, with the Peske name, you get thrown into a lot of things at this building. And you've opened your home to all of our crazy teenagers on multiple occasions, whether you've wanted to or not.
And your roof.
we love it.
And your roof. That was not me. I had nothing to do with your roof. That was your son and his friend.
One of my favorite stories. I love it.
But just thank you for all that you've done around here as well, because it's easy to just let it kind of go unseen, but it's not. We see all the work that you do behind the scenes and all of that, and we just want to thank you for that as well.
Oh, thank you.
So
perfect.
Ty always says, if you're driving, please don't close your eyes. If not, you can close your eyes and pray with us. Dear God, thank you for Nicole and the person that she is. Thank you for her family and the blessing that they've been, not only to this building and the people in it, but to the community in general. They have such a big impact on so many people in this community that I don't even think they realize. Thank you for just working through Nicole and her family to just shine your light everywhere that they go. I pray that you keep their family safe and healthy, and that you just keep helping them dig into their faith and grow and just be the people that they were created to be. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Nicole, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. Kate, you too. I mean, this time of year is really busy for you. Thank you for being here and being a part of this podcast. So thank you guys for joining us. Again, if you want to join us in person, our services are at 9:15 and 10:45 on Sundays, 523 North 21st Street. Otherwise, have a great week. We'll see you next Thursday.